No, it is not just you. Not everything that's supposed to be bolt-on will work right out of the box, especially when you're working on a custom build. And that is what today's video is gonna be about. Hey YouTube, it's Faye, and today I just wanna show you this stuff takes so much time when you're doing custom stuff. So if you find yourself getting discouraged on something that you thought would just be a bolt-on modification and would take you maybe, you know, an evening or a weekend, I'm going into 3 weeks now of working on this forward-facing intake manifold. So I'm gonna show you what I've done, and hopefully this will just give you a little bit of encouragement on y'all's builds. Okay, let's get into it.
Just waiting for my poor air compressor to catch up.
So first of all, I'm gonna show you what I'm finishing up right now, and this is by no fault of the manifold manufacturer. I wasn't sure how I wanted to clock my throttle body. I wasn't sure until I got it on the engine and took some measurements in the engine bay. So I had Danny weld on this throttle body adapter plate, this flange. And so right now what I'm doing is porting. I mean, his welds are so good. Let me see if there's any. Gosh, I've really sanded everything at this point, but his welds are so good, but I just want it smooth because I'm a perfectionist. So, and I'm doing it with this tool. I'm gonna link this down below. I have this in my Amazon storefront. This is such an awesome tool for porting. Oh my God, highly recommend. So yeah, this is what I'm doing right now. I've probably got a few hours into this so far, but then also check out the finish that I have right now. It looks super rough, I know, but this actually is a good finish. This is gonna really help grab the gasket. So I've spent probably an hour and a half at this point. I did it and then I sort of checked it and then redid it, making this flat, because when it was welded on, it distorted this a little bit. So when I put my throttle body on, it rocked back and forth and you could see light through it. So I knew that that was not gonna form a good seal. No, that's not what a gasket is for. I do trust though that this nice flat edge, it's a little rough, is gonna grab that gasket and form a really nice seal on there. Also, we've got back here, these ports, I label everything, even though I know perfectly well this is going to my fuel pressure regulator. Why not just put a little flag on it? So I did. 2 of these were stripped, so I had to rethread all of these. Over here, you can see, check that out. That is totally custom. I machined that and then Danny welded it. And then you can see on the flip side, of course, that after Danny's beautiful welding, oh my gosh, look at that. He's such a good welder. Of course, it's raised. So I've got my Dicam blue there, spray it on, and I'm going to, of course, have to resurface this as well. I'm probably also gonna do this by hand. I'm gonna start by taking my little sander, grinding that down and resurfacing the entire thing. But the manifold did not come with a little coolant port here. But on the cylinder, it just had a hole, so it wasn't even threaded. There was like nothing going on. It was just a hole like any of these other bolt holes. So this had to be made. Maybe I could have drilled and tapped in there, but this way I've got a little port coming off of it and, you know, just machined in a little groove here, so I'll be able to put my hose and I'll be able to put my little hose clamp on there, and that will be good. You can see I've got the spot for the IAC valve, and I'm going to have to weld the flange on to hold the IAC properly. It's like a little bit of a spacer. The spacer holds a little diaphragm into place, so I couldn't just install the IAC on this as it is. And then lastly, also, forward-facing intake manifold. So what's gonna be moving? My throttle body, obviously, which is gonna be moving what? My throttle linkage, my throttle cable. And there's nowhere on here that is supporting the throttle cable. So it could either run underneath and run into this and rub on the bottom, or I could make a little bracket to hold it, which is what I did.
Here's the completed little bracket that I made to hold my new extended length throttle cable. And here's the factory one for comparison. You can see it barely extends to the end of the cylinder head. And in case you're wondering, I went with this low-car universal cable that I can cut to the proper length, since this is totally custom, and I will link that down in the description below. Lastly, because I'm running AEM Infinity, I need some sensors. I need my intake air temperature sensor, and I need my manifold pressure sensor.
And yes, there are these ports on the bottom, but what do they say about these styles of sensors? Don't have them upside down. Why? Well, because this is the bottom, so the condensation can collect in here, get onto the sensors and cause damage to them. And also I kind of wanted them here. You don't want them at the very, very end because you don't want them to hit that pulse, especially with the map. So right here, you can see I've got my 2 little bungs. This is for the IAT. And I've got the hole big enough. So now I'm gonna sort of shave down both the sides of this, and also you can see how thick this is. I'll be able to shave down a little bit here to make that sit flush before, once again, Danny welds it. This is gonna be the front, so I don't want any of my welding to be seen. It's not pretty. And then here is that little pipe thread, 1/8 inch NPT bung, and I already drilled my pilot hole, but I've gotta widen that. I'm just gonna see how they fit, and that is for my map sensor, my manifold absolute pressure sensor. So that is just a small list of modifications of what I've had to do that has caused me to spend so much time on this ready to bolt on manifold. Okay, I had to get this on camera because Danny was complimenting my handiwork.
So we have these that are so neatly, not only did you just drill them, you counterbored them with the die grinder, and then you actually shape these, which I think is just so cool because they drop in and they just look so bitchin'. I mean, if we were to be, welding this manifold up, man, that would have been the thing to do, is weld them from the inside. Look how nice they look.
Yeah, they look amazing.
They look good. They look
no
really...
matter what, I mean, they're gonna look amazing because you're such a good welder. So if you guys are new to my channel, then you probably haven't met Danny yet. However, he's been in many of my videos of this series, the Supra Saga series, and he actually has a couple of videos up on his channel, I'm gonna link in the description below, about welding specifically for automotive products. There's a bunch of things you should know before you weld automotive stuff, especially if it's been used on the vehicle before. Isn't that right, Danny?
Yes. Yes, once automotive aluminum, which is different than non-automotive aluminum, it's that it's porous. So if it's been used, it's like a sponge, and all the aluminum just goes into it. So that makes it difficult. This is brand new aluminum going for automotive, so it's going to be a breeze. It's going to be fun. But older aluminum, what people have difficulties with is, it's like a sponge. I mean, all that oil just goes into pores.
Oil, coolant, all sorts of fluids. And earlier in this video too, I referenced this cool little coolant port there. So cool. And Danny was the mastermind behind welding that as well. So as you can see, he did a really good job. So clearly that's why I want him to weld those other aluminum pieces on, because this is going to be sort of, yes, exactly.
Yes,
this as well.
Motion piece is gonna go there.
Yeah, for my idle air control valve. So yeah, because this is going to be such a prominent piece on top of my engine, these little bungs too, they're going to be right in front with those sensors. So since they're going to be seen, I wanted it to be done by the master, and I'm not a very good TIG welder.
And
so.
just for the master of overkill, because we're kind of like the masters of overkill.
Yes.
Is this aluminum is not sheet metal? It's cast aluminum.
Yes.
It was thick enough that all Faye had to do was just drill and tap it. It didn't need these bungs because it's not real thin. It's actually thick aluminum.
It's really thick, yeah.
Yeah, so this is going to be cool. But this is going over and beyond. On something this thick, you could have just drilled it and tapped it. But that would have just been too easy.
Yeah, no, we can't.
It wouldn't have looked that cool.
No, it wouldn't have been. And this amazing little bung came with the sensor, and it just, I don't know, it looks nice. And then
we have this flange.
Oh,
that we welded on.
Yep.
And then man, that was cool.
They've already seen that earlier in the video as well. So, yep, I titled this video, and I guess I'm not even technically done with it yet, but I already titled it the 20-hour bolt-on manifold.
Yes.
It just bolts right on, people. It's a bolt-on piece. Yeah, actually, I'm sure at this point it's actually more than 20 hours, but I made the cover photo and I titled this video a little prematurely. Wasn't it you, Danny, you were teaching me about how the first thing you should do is make the title for your video?
Yes, and then you know what you're filming, but sometimes it doesn't work that way.
No.
Sometimes the video tells you what it's going to be. You think it's going to be something.
Yep.
And it just goes into something else. In this particular instance, like I said.
I don't think it's a 20-hour manifold anymore. I think it's a 40-hour manifold.
Yeah.
Oh,
Time-wise, it wouldn't be cost effective. But that's the difference of what you do in your garage. that doesn't matter. You're getting the enjoyment. You're doing, like I said, you've probably, I mean, I shouldn't say probably because I've seen you here.
I have definitely enjoyed.
The
hey,
process,
I've learned.
Yes, and the process is the enjoyment.
Oh,
in this particular
100%.
instance, there's people who get real frustrated, go drop it off, and let somebody else work on it. And that's the case. Just go buy one and bolt it on. But you're missing the joy of building a car.
I will say I had one moment of not joy the other day when I was in the back in the very, very, very stuffy loading dock, and I was getting very, very warm resurfacing the flange there for the manifold bolts to the head, and I was like, Danny, I'm frustrated with this, and he's like, it's gonna seal, Faye. Like, you're just being way over perfectionistic. But that's what happens when you learn from this guy.
And don't take it for granted that because you bought something new that it's perfectly flat.
Yes, because it wasn't.
It wasn't. And it wasn't where we welded it. 'Cause
Exactly.
A lot of times when you weld, you'll distort the area around it. This had nothing to do with, it was just not flat.
Yeah, it was not flat all the way down here. There was a little section, and
section up
right here, now you can see sort of where there's still a low spot here. Now there's going to be a bolt going in there, which is going to sort of tighten it. But as you can see, I resurfaced it until this whole area around was flat. And this, the area that's on the back side of the welding that you saw earlier in this video.
Yep.
So, all right, Danny.
Don't take it for granted, or don't be too hard on yourself because look what they do.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. Well, it was like a $400 shipped Taiwanese manifold, so it might not necessarily be the manifold I would recommend anyone else get, but for me it was cheap and it was the right thing at the time. So
Sure, and a lot of times you can buy something that might not be 100% the one you want, but you're fabbing.
Right.
So it's a good starting point, which
Yes.
was actually I was really pleased. And this isn't your first manifold.
No.
You know, you can actually do a thing on buying manifolds on internet.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna let Danny work the magic, and we'll be back here in a hot minute, and I'll show you his welds. Oh my God, that is so brilliant! Look how Danny is holding the bungs on there.
That's why.
I mean, okay, I see. All right, so this is like nothing special to you. This is nothing special to Danny.
yeah.
I'm just like, that's so brilliant. I wouldn't have thought of that. All right, well, maybe eventually I would have thought of it, but
Yes,
still, I came over and I was surprised.
As we get more experience, we get more vice grips.
No.
Or C-clamps. There you go.
Legit. All right, well, I wish I could watch you, but I can't. Sorry, guys, you can't either. So I like it how Danny does a little tack here, so we can just see where everyone's going to sit. And at this point, he's asking
And a
me-
slight little tip of the day, you can move stuff around. When you weld, it's going to want to roll because of the heat. But let's use that to our advantage. Just put a tack. Now, if you want to move your fitting, whichever way you want, you can move it. It's going to stay there. And then we can weld all the way around. So, but now we can look at it, see how we like it.
I like this one because we got a map sensor earlier. I was sort of telling you why I chose to put them where I did, why they're not underneath on those holes that are already there. Right, Danny? We do not want our fittings upside down. Because
Yes, if it's going to have pressure and we got pressure in the manifold, any fluid that's in the manifold is going to get pushed into the sensor. And I know everybody's thinking, but this is fuel injection. There's injectors at the head. There's not going to be any fuel in here. Yes, there is. There's plenty of videos out there. If you need to make a video, there's fuel in the manifold. Even though it's going in, you have reversion.
yes.
So there's going to be a lot of wet fuel in here. I mean, it's just the way it is. So we're just going a little bit beyond and putting them up here where we're not going to get any fuel to actually could ever get on it.
Right, exactly. And it's got a slight point down. And then our intake air temp, they're spaced far enough apart here so I'll be able to tighten them independently of one another. The tips aren't going to be touching on the inside. So I already took my throttle position sensor off, and you'll see why in another video. But I marked where it is. Over here, we've got where our throttle cable is going to run underneath. And here's where the throttle position sensor is going to be. So all the wiring and everything is going to be
It'll
out
come
of the
up through
way.
here,
And
tap right there, there, and there.
it's so nice.
Yeah.
It's so straightforward. I love it. All right, cool. Carry forth.
They're always so pretty when no one will ever see it.
Oh,
I'm bummed.
everyone's gonna see it. Don't worry.
Now they will.
Everyone's gonna see it. Don't worry. That is
It's just
beautiful. That looks so good.
So that's the front ones. We're done there.
So,
go and put that
where'd
there.
you go to welding school, Danny?
School of Hard Knocks. the burnt part school. Burn stuff and you'll learn.
Love it.
Yeah. best way to learn.
Oh, once again, underneath the manifold, no one's ever gonna see it.
And I always do the back first. The front I'm gonna try to do real pretty, but it's like, yeah.
Oh my God, look how well it matches too. Well, yours is better than there. Oh my God, oh, Danny, it's perfect. Look at that! Oh my gosh, that is a thing of beauty. That is a thing of beauty. Look at that. That's not going anywhere.
No, it's not going anywhere.
That's not. No one's gonna knock that off by mistake.
And we even saved the drift motion there.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What do you guys think? 11 out of 10? 11 out of 10. Also, Danny, look what I just... What do you think?
Oh, perfect. That's
Pretty
what we
good,
need.
right?
Yes, you need to get rid of the anodizing. We can't
Yep.
weld on top of that.
Yep,
We're not going to
can't.
have any impurities.
Can't
That's
weld on
perfect.
top of the... Thanks, Danny!
And did you get a picture in the videos of how much work it took just...
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
that-
I'm going to do a time lapse of the taping.
Yes.
Yeah, it took so long, my camera actually timed out, so...
Good. That way there's no chance of getting anything on it.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Yep.
So there we go.
Yep, and that little fella's going to go right there.
And of course the bottom will be the perfect weld and the top will be the stuff.
Hey! I'll flip it upside down so you won't know which is top from
there
bottom.
you go. That's the key.
All right, you guys, so what do you think? 20 hour, 40, maybe 50 hour manifold at this point. And this is not even all of it. We've still got that bracket that's gotta be welded on, but it is Friday. It is the end of the day. We are wrapping up. It is time to go home. And Danny's about to start a live stream. So I will link that down below in case you're interested in watching what he did after welding this manifold. And not only that, but I'm actually gonna be doing some powder coating and some art on this manifold. So perhaps by the time that I am done, instead of a 40-hour manifold, it will be a 400-hour manifold. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. At the very least, I hope this gives you some encouragement that not everything is instantaneous TV magic, bolt on, and things just instantly work the way that they're supposed to. There's so much work that goes into all the stuff behind the scenes for every sort of custom build. So thanks so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye! See to eat vegetables and convert it into eggs. That's amazing.